Hi, a little reminder that we are live on Twitch every Friday and Sunday evening at 8 pm Greek hour. So don't hesitate to join us for cozy streams. Thank you, and I let you with the video.
I will first present the book, then I will read the first chapter, and I will make some commentary. I will censor some things because I understood that this book is kinda smut, so I will have some censor to do. And after that, I will just tell you what I'm thinking about this book. Like, I will give my opinion on it, and we will see. The book I'm gonna read right now on live, it's called Twisted Games, written by Anna Wong. I hope I'm not destroying the pronunciation of her name, but yeah. Edited by Piatkus. Kind of weird name, but okay, why not? And if I understood well, this is a love story. Yeah, a smut. A smut love story between a Princess Bridget, and Rhys Larsen, her bodyguard. Like forbidden love, I guess. With some royalty politics. I'm gonna read you the summary. Discover the addictive world of the Twisted series. Stoic, broody, and arrogant, elite bodyguard Rhys Larsen has two rules: protect his client at all costs, and do not become emotionally involved, ever. Kind of feel like he will become emotionally involved with Princess Bridget. Kind of feel like he will. And broke his rules. He has never once been tempted to break those rules. Until her. Bridget von... Oh no. I'm already struggling. Why the name is so difficult? Okay. Bridget von Ashberg? Bridget von Ashberg. A princess with a hidden fire that reduces his rules to ash. Day by day, she breaks down his defenses. He swore an oath to protect her, but it's not enough. She must be his princess, his forbidden fruit, his every depraved fantasy. Yeah, it smells a smut. I have this little smell that it's gonna be smut. Regal, strong-willed and bound by the chains of the duty, Princess Bridget dreams of the freedom to live and love as she chooses. But when her brother abdicates, she's faced with the prospect of a loveless political marriage and a throne she never wanted. Kinda harsh, girl. Harsh for her. As she navigates the intricacies and treacheries of her new role, she must also hide her desire for a man she can't have, her bodyguard, her protector, her ultimate rune. Okay, so this is a forbidden love. Seems pretty interesting so far, like... We have themes like political marriage. Chapter 1. Point of view, Bridget. The Princess Bridget. Okay. It starts like this? Well... How could I do it? It really starts with spanking. I knew it was gonna be smut, but not first very word and line, you know? The author has no time, no chill. I will replace the word spank by spook. Anyway, so if I say spook, it will be spanking. You know what it is. So let's go. I can't. Spook me, master, spook me. I stifled a laugh at my bodyguard Booth's face as Leader the parrot squawked in his cage. The parrot's name said all you needed to know about its previous owner's sex life. And while some found him amusing, Booth did not. He hated birds. He said they reminded him of giant flying rats. Flying rats? Really? Okay, that's a weird way to describe a bird. One day, he and Leader are going to get into it. Emma, the director of Wags and Whiskers, clucked her tongue. Poor Booth. I held back another laugh, even as I felt a small pang in my heart. Probably not. Booth is leaving soon. I tried not to think about it. Booth had been with me for 4 years, but he was leaving for paternity leave next week and staying in Eldora after to be closer to his wife and newborn. I was happy for him, but I will miss him. He was not only my bodyguard but a friend, and I could only hope his replacement and I had the same rapport. Ah yes, I forgot. Emma's face softened. She was in her early 60s, with short grey streaked hair and warm brown eyes. Lots of changes for you in a short time, my dear. She knew how much I hated goodbyes. I'd been volunteering at Wags and Whiskers, a local pet rescue shelter, since my sophomore year of college, and Emma had become a close friend and mentor. Oh, that's good. She's a princess, but also care about animals. That's good. She's good, for now. Unfortunately, she too was leaving. Ah, too bad. A lot of people leaving in this book. She had still been Hazelberg, but she was retiring as the shelter director, which meant I would no longer see her every week. One of them doesn't have to happen. Okay, I said only half joking. You could stay. She shook her head. I've run the shelter for almost a decade, and it's time for new blood. Someone who can clean the cages without her back and hips acting up. Yeah, I kinda get that, girl. That's what volunteers are for. I gestured toward myself. I was belaboring the point, but I couldn't help it. Between Emma, Booth, and my impending graduation from Tyre University, where I was majoring in international relations, as expected of a princess, I had enough goodbyes to last me for the next 5 years. You are a sweetheart, don't tell the others, but she lowered her voice to a conspiratorial whisper. You're my favorite volunteer. It's rare to find someone of your stature who does charity because she wants to, not because she's putting on a show for cameras. That's true. So much of rich people only do good deeds and charity because of the cameras. My cheeks tinted pink at the compliment. It's my pleasure. I adore animals. I took after my mother in that regard. It was one of the few pieces of her I had left. In another life, I would have been a veterinarian, but in this life, my path had been laid out for me since before I was born. You would make a great queen. Emma stepped aside to allow a staff member with a wriggling puppy in his arm to pass. Truly, that's kinda sweet. I laughed at the thought. Yeah, you get what I wanted to say. Thank you, but I have no interest in being a queen. Even if I did, the chances of me wearing the crown are slim. As the princess of Eldora, a small European kingdom, I came closer to ruling than most people. My parents died when I was a kid, my mother in childbirth, my father in a car accident a few years later. So I was second in line to the throne. My brother, Nikolai, who was 4 years my senior, had been training to take over for our grandfather, King Edvard, since he was old enough to walk. Once Nikolai had children, I would be bumped further down the line of succession, something I had zero complaints about. I wanted to be queen as much as I wanted to bath in a vat of acid. Girl, that's pretty much exaggerated. A vat of acid? Yeah, I get that being the queen is not a role you want, because it's, well, you know, political marriage. But yeah, a vat of acid. Why not? Emma frowned in disappointment. Ah, well, the sentiment is the same. Emma, one of the other staff members, called out. We've got a situation with the cats, she sighed. It's always the cats. Yeah, it's always the cats. The cats are little demons. It's always the cats, little demons, she muttered. Anyway, I wanted to tell you about my retirement before you heard it from anyone else. I will still be here until the end of the next week, so I will see you on Tuesday. Sounds good. I hugged her goodbye and watched her run off to deal with a literal catfight, the pang in my chest growing. I was glad Emma hasn't told me about her retirement until the end of my shift, or it would have been in my head the whole time. Are you ready, Your Highness? Booth asked, clearly eager to get away from Leather. Yeah, let's go. Leather squawked as we exited. Spook me! My laugh finally broke free at Booth's grimace. I will miss you, and so will Leather. I stuffed my hand in my coat pockets to protect them against the sharp autumn chill. Tell me about the new bodyguard. What's he like? The leaves crunched beneath my boots as we walked toward my off-campus house, which was only 15 minutes away. I adored fall. We all love fall. I don't know why, but a lot of girls love fall, and I'm one of them. And everything that came with it, the cozy clothes, the riot of earthy color on the trees, the hint of cinnamon and smoke in the air. I love cinnamon. I don't like the smell of cinnamon, but I love the taste of cinnamon. Nothing to do with the book, but yeah. In Edinburgh, I wouldn't be able to walk down the street without getting mobbed. But that was the great thing about Tyre. Its student population boasts so many royals and celebrity offspring, a princess was no big deal. I could live my life like a relatively normal college girl. I don't know much about the new guard, Booth admitted. He's a contractor. My eyebrows showed up. Really? The Crown sometimes hired private security contractors to serve alongside the Royal Guard, but it was rare. In my 21 years... Oh, she's 21, just like me! Yeah, I'd never had a bodyguard who was a contractor. He's supposed to be the best, Booth said, mistaking my surprise for wariness. Ex-Navy SEAL, top-notch recommendations, experience guarding high-profile personalities. He's his company's most sought-after professional. An American guard, interesting. I do hope we get along. When two people were around each other 24/7, compatibility mattered a lot. I knew people who hadn't meshed with their security details, and those arrangements never lasted long. I'm sure you will. You're easy to get along with, Your Highness. You're only saying that because I'm your boss. Yeah, I think it's pretty accurate, actually. Booth grinned. Technically, the director of the Royal Guard is my boss. I wagged a playful finger at him. Back talking already? I'm disappointed. He laughed. Despite his insistence on calling me Your Highness, we'd settled into a casual camaraderie over the years that I appreciated. Excessive formality exhausted me. No kidding, girl. Excessive formality, I think it's exhausting for everyone. We chatted about Booth's impending fatherhood and moved back to Eldora for the rest of our walk. He was near bursting with pride over his unborn child, and I couldn't help a small stab of envy. I was nowhere near ready for marriage and kids, but I wanted what Booth and his wife had: love, passion, choice, things no amount of money could buy. A sardonic smile touched my lips. No doubt I'd sound like an ungrateful brat to anyone who could hear my thoughts. I could get any material thing I desired with a snap of my fingers, and I was winning about love. Can I get why, girl? You can. It's okay to want love and passion and true things, you know. But people were people, no matter their title. And some desire were universal. Unfortunately, the ability to fulfill them was not. Maybe I would fall in love with a prince who would sweep me off my feet, but I doubted it. Most likely, I would end up in a boring, socially acceptable marriage with a boring, socially acceptable man who only had sex, missionary style, and vacation in the same two places every year. Wow. Okay, that sounds pretty boring. I pushed the depressing thought aside. I had a long way to go before I even thought about marriage, and I would cross that bridge when I got there. My house came into sight, and my eyes latched onto the unfamiliar black BMW idling in the driveway. I assumed it belonged to my new bodyguard. Oh, so we will have their first meeting, I guess. He's early. Booth raised a surprise bro. He's not supposed to arrive until 5. Punctuality is a good sign, I suppose. Though half an hour early might be overkill. Yeah, totally. Half an hour? No. An hour and a half or half an hour? Half an hour. Yeah, it's a bit too much. The car door opened and a large black boot planted itself on the driveway. A second later, the biggest man I'd ever seen in real life unfolded himself from the front seat, and my mouth turned bone dry. Will she get like, oh my god, he's so beautiful, handsome, and I'm in love at first sight? Will it be like this? Holy hotness, yes, it will be like this, okay. My new bodyguard had to be at least 6'4". Yeah, because of course, if he's like a smut book protagonist, he's 6 feet something and muscular and everything, you know. He has to be like every protagonist of smut book. Maybe even 6'5". Yeah, very important to specify this. With solid sculpted muscles packed onto every inch of his powerful frame. Told you he was gonna be muscular. Told you. Longish black hair grazed his collar and fell over one gunmetal gray eyes. I don't know why, but I was kinda expecting him to be blonde. And his legs were so long, he ate up the distance between us in 3 strides. For someone so large, he moved with surprising stealth. If I hadn't been looking at him, I wouldn't have noticed him approach at all. He is a bodyguard, of course he is sneaky. But maybe he is a ninja. Also. He stopped in front of me, and I swore my body tilted forward a centimeter, unable to resist his gravitational pull. Really now? Really now? Okay. Why not? I was also strangely tempted to run my hand through his thick dark locks. Girl, you just met him and you already want to pat his head? He's not a cat boy, you know. Most veterans kept their hair military style short even after leaving the service, but clearly he wasn't one of them. Rhys Larson, his deep, gravelly voice, rolled over me like a velvet caress. Yeah, because of course he is 6 foot something and he's muscular and have a very, very deep voice because he has to have a very, very deep voice. Okay. He is a bit of a cliche now. Now that he was closer, I spotted a thin scar slashing through his left eyebrow, adding a hint of menace to his dark good looks. Okay, stubble darkened his jaw, and a hint of a tattoo picked out from both sleeves of his shirt. Okay, he's very, very cliche. I got it. He was the opposite of the preppy, clean-shaven type I usually went for, But that didn't stop a swarm of butterflies from taking flight in my stomach. Girl, you're already in love at first sight? Like this. Okay. Very quick. She's very quick at it. I was so flustered by their appearance I forgot to respond until Booth let out a small cough. Yeah, because of course, she's a cliché too, and she would just be like, my mouth is open and I'm drooling over this 6'5" guy with muscles and a deep voice. And I will be like, I'm a girl in love. I hope she is not like this. I hope she is not written like this. I don't like when they write the women in books being like, I'm naive and in love and you know, I don't really like that. I hope it isn't the case in this book. I'm Bridget. Okay, this is it's nice to meet you. I hoped neither man noticed the flush creeping over my cheeks. So she is written like this. Okay. I omitted the princess title on purpose. It seemed too pretentious for casual one-on-one settings. Can I agree with this? I did, however, notice Riz didn't address me as Your Highness the way Booth did. I didn't mind. I'd been trying to get Booth to call me by my first name for years, but it was another sign my new guard would be nothing like my old one. You have to move. I blinked. I beg your pardon? Your house. Riz tilted his head toward my spacious but cozy two-bedroom abode. It's a security nightmare. I don't know who sign off on the location, but you have to move. He is just arrived. He just arrived. He just arrived and he's like, you have to move. Don't live here. You have to find another apartment. Bro, calm down. You can protect her without shoving her in a bunker, you know. The butterflies screeched to a halt. We'd met less than 2 minutes ago, and he was already ordering me around like he was the boss. Who does he think he is? Oh, will it be like enemies to lover trope and forbidden love on top of that? And smut on top of that? I've lived here for 2 years. I've never had an issue. It only takes one time. Bro, stop being overprotective like this. She doesn't need it. I'm not moving. I punctuated my words with a sharpness I rarely used. But Reese's condescending tone grated on my nerves. Yeah, I get why. I get why. Any attraction I'd felt toward him crumbled into ash, dying the quickest death in my history with the opposite sex. Not that it would have gone anywhere. He was, after all, my bodyguard, but it would have been nice to have eye candy without wanting to drop kick him into the next century. Men. Men. They always ruined it by opening their mouth. Oh, she's angry. Against men who ruin everything by opening their mouth. Men. You're the security expert, I added coolly. Figure it out. She's kinda right though. Riz glowered at me beneath thick, dark brows. I couldn't remember the last time anyone had glowered at me. Yes, Your Highness. His inflection on the last two words made a mockery of the title, and the embers of indignation in my stomach stoked brighter. It will clearly be enemies to lovers. We know it. Enemies to lovers. I opened my mouth to respond with what? I wasn't sure, because I hadn't been outright hostile, but Booth cut in before I said something I would regret. Why don't we go inside? It looks like it's about to rain, he said quickly. Rhys and I looked it up. The clear blue sky winked back at us. Booth, you You could find something else to say. Not the rain. It's not raining at all. If the sky is blue as hell. Booth cleared his throat. You never know. Rain showers come out of nowhere. He muttered. After you, Your Highness. We entered the house in silence. I shrugged off my coat and hung it on the brass tree by the door before making another stab at civility. Would you like something to drink? Irritation still stabbed at me, but I hated confrontation and I didn't want my relationship with my new bodyguard to start on such a sour note. I think it's a little bit too late for this, girl. No. Wow. Okay. Okay. The guy has no chill. He's like, no. Okay. You want something to drink? No. No. Okay. Right. No. Rhys scanned the living room, which I decorated in shades of jade green and cream. A housekeeper came by twice a month to deep clean, but I kept the place tidy myself for the most part. Why don't we get to know each other? Booth said in a jovial, too loud voice. I mean you and Rhys, Your Highness. We can talk needs, expectations, schedules. Excellent idea. I mustered a strained smile and gestured Rhys toward the couch. Please sit. For the next 45 minutes, we ran through logistics for the transition. Booth would remain my bodyguard until Monday, but Rhys would shadow him until then, so he could get a feel for how things work. This is all fine. Rhys closed the file containing a detailed breakdown of my class and weekly schedules, upcoming public events and expected travels. Let me be frank, Princess Bridget. I think he was very frank from the beginning. He never restrained himself. I don't get that feeling. You are not my first, nor will you be the last royal I've guarded. I've worked with Harper Security for 5 years, and I've never had a client harmed while under my protection. Do you want to know why? Let me guess. Your dazzling charms turned the would-be attackers into complacency, I said. Okay, I kinda like the sass. Booth choked on a laugh, which he quickly turned into a cough. Rhys's mouth didn't so much as twitch. Of course it didn't. My joke wasn't Comedy Central worthy, but I imagined finding a waterfall in the Sahara would be easier than finding a drop of humor in that big infuriatingly sculpted body. I did it! The reason is twofold, Rhys said calmly as if I hadn't spoken at all. One, I do not become involved in my clients' personal lives. I am here to safeguard you from physical harm, that is all. I am not here to be your friend, confidant, or anything else. This ensures my judgment remains uncompromised. Two, my clients understand the way things must work if they are to remain safe. And how is that? My polite smile carried a warning he either didn't notice or ignored. They do what I say when I say it for anything security related. Rhys's grey eyes looked onto mine. It was like staring at an unyielding steel wall. Understand, your Highness? He's a bit controlling though. What's related to safety? Because if you look at it very generally, everything is related to safety. He could literally look at her and say, your boyfriend has to go away and disappear because he's not safe. You know, it's like, what do you mean related to safety? Because the food can be related to safety, friends, boyfriends, lovers, everything, even internet, you know. I think it's a bit too controlling from you, Rhys. Forget love and passion. What I wanted most was to slap the arrogant expression of his face and knee him in the family jewels while I was at it. She's kinda right though. Why not? I mean, why not? He kinda deserve it, he's controlling as hell. I pressed the pads of my fingers into my thighs, and forced myself to count to 3 before I responded. When I spoke again, my voice was frigid enough to make Antarctica look like a beach paradise. Yes, my smile sharpened. Luckily for both of us, Mr. Larson, I have no interest in being your friend, confidant, or anything else. I didn't bother dignifying the second part of his statement. Yeah, okay. I had question about it, but now okay. The one about me doing what he said when he said it, with a response. I wasn't an idiot. I'd always heeded Booth's security advice, but I'd be damned if I fell into Reese's inflated sense of self. Good. Reese stood. I hated how tall he was. Girl, first, you're talking about his height like he's 6'4", not even 6'5". Oh my god, he's so beautiful and handsome. Ah. And now he's too tall. It's infuriating. I'm angry because he is too tall. Girl, make up your mind. His presence obliterated everything else in the vicinity until he was the only thing I could focus on. I will assess the house before we discuss next steps, including upgrading your security system. Right now, any teenager with access to YouTube tutorials can bypass the alarm. Isn't he a bit exaggerating though? I think he is a bit exaggerating though. Because really, with YouTube tutorials you can bypass alarms? Maybe. I don't really know. But I feel like it's a bit exaggerated. He shot me a disapproving glare before he disappeared into the kitchen. My jaw dropped. I sputtered, uncharacteristically speechless. Why, I never! I turned to Booth, who was trying to melt into the giant potted plant by the front door. You're not leaving, I forbid it! Reese could not be my bodyguard. I would murder him, and my housekeeper would murder me for staining the carpet with blood. Girl, she's violent! I like her. Okay, better than the beginning. He probably has first day jitters. Booth looked as uncertain as he sounded. You will get along just fine after the transition period, Your Highness. Perhaps if we made it out of the transition period alive. You're right. I pressed my fingers to my temple and took a deep breath. I can do this. I've dealt with difficult people before. My cousin Andreas was the spawn of Satan, and a British lord once tried to group me under the table at Monaco's Rose Bowl. What the hell is this? This is some information I wasn't expecting. He only stopped after I accidentally stabbed his hand with a fork. Girl! Wow, she's very violent. Okay, I love her. She has some reactions. I'm not stabbing people with forks. It's bad. But if it's fictional, but she's kinda badass, you know. What was one surly bodyguard compared to entitled aristocrats, noisy reporters, and evil family members? Reese returned. Surprise, surprise, his glower hadn't melted. I've detected 6 security vulnerabilities. We need to address a zap. He's so stern. A zap, he said. Let's start with number 1, the windows. Don't tell me he will scold her for having windows. Which ones? Stay calm, stay reasonable. All of them. Of course, all of the windows. Booth covered his face with his hands, while I contemplated turning my hairpin into a murder weapon. Yeah, I get that, girl. Reese and I definitely weren't making it out of the transition alive. And this is the end of the first chapter. Well, yeah, what can I say about it? My opinion on it. the first line was a bit of a warning sign. Like the first line with the spook me, you know what it is. Like it was screaming, "You are reading smut, and it will be smut. Be warned." Okay, kind of shocking, but it was pretty fun. I think that Reese, probably there will be evolutions of characters, but I feel like the character of Reese is a bit of a cliche. Like, he's the stern bodyguard with no emotions, but with time he will feel emotions towards her, Bridget, Princess Bridget, and he will... The character of Reese is the stern bodyguard with no emotions, and I'm almost persuaded I know what will happen after this. He will be like, he's starting to have some feelings for the Princess Bridget, and he will change and soften a little bit, and he will become very protective and get a bit of a cliche. Physically he is a cliche. He's tall and muscular and everything, He's a cliche. As to Princess Bridget, at first I thought she was like written very stereotypically. Like she was, this guy is very handsome, so I'm in love at first sight, and blushing, and I forgot how to talk. And I was like, I don't really like when they write women so naive and so in love at the first sight, and if a man is handsome enough, she will be like, I forget everything and I will follow everything he says, and he's like a god, and wow. I don't like when they write women like this in books, but since it looks like an enemies to lovers book, I think, at least in the chapter I just read, she's a bit of violent, so I kinda like it. It's fictional, it's okay, it's fictional. Princess Bridget, she has some sassy attitude, and I kinda like it, so it was a discovery, and the discovery was pretty fun actually. I think this book is a bit of a cliche, written like a cliche for the characters, but it looks pretty fun to read, so I will keep reading it